souvenir that you took home from the Neverending Story shoot?
Oh, what did I take? I took the saddle.
Okay.
I took the saddle from the horse, which I still have somewhere. I gotta find it. I don't know where it is. Yeah, I took the saddle. I stole that. Steven Spielberg got the Orin, which can't steal that from him. And then they gave me the horse. So that didn't do too bad. But yeah, I got the saddle sitting somewhere in the garage. But that's the only souvenir I got, I think. Other than some scars and bruises and some broken bones. But yeah.
And during the production of the film, you lived in Germany for, I think, over 1.5 years.
Year and change.
And I think that must have been a tight schedule for a 12-year-old boy, because you were shooting. I think you were schooled on the side.
Yeah, when you're a kid and you work on films, you actually probably have more work than the adults, because they don't have to do any school. So you can work, you work a full day as you know, an 8-hour day, but then you got to do 3-hour school also on top of your work day. So you know, it's a lot. And I went to a private French school on top of it. So we had to have a French teacher come and do all that shenaniganry and yeah, I mean, we lived in Munich. My whole family went with me for a year and relocated to Munich, and I loved it. We lived in Bavaria. Right by the zoo, the Bavaria Zoo, and it was awesome. I love it there.
And you even speak French. You.
Je parle français, absolument. Un peu français maintenant. C'est mauvais.
I don't speak French, but
I just said my French sucks these days. But you know.
But I speak German, and the thing is, you lived in Germany. You were in Vienna for a short period of time. Do you speak German as well?
Ein bisschen Deutsch. Not much. I understand more than I speak, that's for sure.
Okay, because I have a very quick game for you. I have prepared.
It's gonna be bad.
Of course it's gonna be. I have prepared a few words, German words, that I would like you to say. And the first one would be this.
Flugzeug.
Yeah, good.
Is that right?
It's Flugzeug. It actually
Flugzeug.
means airplane.
Airplane.
Yeah, Flugzeug.
Flugzeug.
Yeah. Directly translated, it would be fly thing.
Fly thing.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And the lighter is fire thing. I don't know why we're obsessed with things. There's also one more.
Fernseher?
Yeah. Fernseher. It's
Fernseher.
Fernseher. It's TV. So basically, your word. And one last word to get this.
Here. Yeah, right.
It's an actual word.
You should have asked me to spell that. That's like Nabucodonosor. Like, you know, yeah, I have no idea. What the hell is that word?
This
it just looks like you spelled the alphabet all mixed up. Is what that
actually,
looks like.
the word looks like this. It's Fußbodenschleifmaschinenverleih. So it's basically a shop where you can rent out machines to get your floor cleaned.
Sanded or waxed
sanded,
or whatever.
Exactly. So this is one word in German. Yeah, I like this game.
Why? Yeah, it literally looks like you just took the alphabet and mixed it all up.
No, that's my
crazy.
my handwriting. That's very bad.
Well, it's better than mine. It's better than mine.
That's hard to think about.
I have doctors writing without the degree. That's what I'm saying.
But you worked as a tattoo artist, so you actually. Yeah, so you need to be able to draw, and I think that artists who can draw, they actually need to have a nice handwriting as well, don't they?
It depends. I mean, if you're a tattoo artist, you need to be an artist, and if you're gonna do, it's different, because, yeah, I mean, I guess you have to learn how to do calligraphy and certain lettering. Yeah, you gotta learn how to draw flowers and all kinds of shit, so. Yeah, my writing's not very good, so I'll do a stencil. You know, like I'll take the letters and I'll make a nice stencil, and then you put the stencil on, so you're almost tracing it instead of having to just freehand it, because, yeah, that's just, my writing's not that awesome. But yeah, I still tattoo from time to time, not as much as I used to, but I do small stuff now, you know, like some Japanese flowers and some...
You actually went to Vienna to tattoo there.
I tattooed in Vienna
Why
for a
Vienna?
couple... I had a friend who knew this guy named Boris, who has a shop in Vienna called Boris Tattoo, and it's one of the best shops in all of Europe. And they asked me to come out and for a guest appearance and spend it was only supposed to be a couple of weeks, and it ended up turning into almost 2 months. I just had so many appointments. I was tattooing 6 days a week for probably 12 hours a day while I was there. I had a great time. I loved it here.
Awesome. Actually, I would like to ask the audience something, whether you have a question. Hat von euch jemand eine Frage für Noah mitgebracht? In dem Fall ist jetzt der richtige Moment, die Hand zu heben. Und wir haben nette Leute mit guten Mikrofonen, die dann zu euch kommen und die Frage weiterleiten. Eine Frage aus dem Publikum, Hand in die Höhe. Jawohl, in der Mitte.
Yeah, hello, I'm Florian, and I like the German words very much and how you try to spell it. And we have a famous word in Austria which we teach normally foreign peoples first. And I'd like to ask you to speak that. It's Wachkatzelschwaf.
I knew this was coming, I knew it. There is a very famous word. It's actually, I think it's Bavarian accent, and it's Wachkatzelschwaf.
I will never be able to say that. Say it again.
Schwaf.
Schwaf.
It's basically
very close.
Yeah,
fairly close.
Very good.
Yeah, great, thank you.
That's no joke. That's hard. That's a hard word to say. What does it mean?
It's an actual word, and the thing is, when you hear a word like Wachkatzelschwaf, which sounds beautiful and elegant, and it describes something as elegant as the word is, it's the tail of a squirrel. So somebody looked at this beautiful, majestic little creature and said, I'm gonna call you Wachkatzelschwaf.
Wachkatzelschwaf. Gotcha. Wow. I don't think we have a word for a squirrel's tail in English. I think they just call it a squirrel's tail.
Yeah. Which actually kind of makes sense, yeah.
Big fluffy fucking thing. I don't know.
Okay, another question. Hinten, jawohl.
Anything?
Don't worry, I have questions.
All right, good night.
So, but there is a mic.
How do you feel when you think about that you moved a whole generation with that movie and like impressed them with it?
I think it was how it feels to have inspired and moved a whole generation with the Neverending Story.
Well, it could be overwhelming sometimes. I get a lot of people that it really touched. So you get a lot of people that cry. And I always feel bad, so I always tell them, like, I feel like I sent them to therapy, you know what I mean, from the movie. But it's an amazing, I mean, there's not a lot of people that get to be a part of a movie that affected so many people for the last 35 years. So, you know, I'm very blessed, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of people just don't get to do anything in their lives, and by 14 or 15, I'd already done, you know, traveled the world, and yeah, I'm just very blessed, very blessed. I'm very lucky, and very appreciative for everything that I've been able to do. And yeah, it can be a little overwhelming, but it's just, yeah, I think I'm very lucky.
And if you look back at the last 35 years, the film had a huge following when it came out. It has a huge following now because of its 35th anniversary. How would you describe the film's impact and fan base over the course of this 3.5 decades? Did it have, you know, ups and downs, or was it like more?
Yeah, I mean, it's had, at the beginning, it actually took a little time for it to take off, because they didn't do like a major release in the States like they normally do. They had another movie that they were supposed to promote before the Neverending Story, and they pulled that and then put the Neverending, so they didn't do much publicity here. But in Europe, it was huge off the bat. Yeah, it's interesting when you're in a movie and you have kids and their parents and the grandparents that have all been affected by it and seen it. It's a trip. It's a trip because there's just not a lot of movies like that in life, you know?
Yeah, and of course, you read the script of the movie, basically. But you told us yesterday that you also read the book.
Yes.
So, what I would be interested in, did you read the book before you made the movie or after?
Before. Got the script, gave us the book, you know, read the book a couple of times, read the script 5,000 times or whatever. And yeah, the book, there was just so much in the book. They probably could have done, you know, 10 movies off the back. There's just, I mean, it's a big, deep book. So they couldn't have possibly jammed everything in it. That's why they did the, you know, in parts.
Yep.
But, you know, I think for what they did a great job. You know, to adapt that book into something culpable is probably very hard.
When you read the book and the script, what were your first feelings about the adaptation, and is there one part of the movie that you personally would have liked to change or to do differently?
Oh, I would have not stuck myself in the swamps of sadness for 2 months with the horse dying for 2 weeks, because we shot that scene 2 weeks of crying and screaming and yeah, there was a poll, I don't know if it was like Rolling Stone magazine but it was like in the top 10 most gut-wrenching moments in movie history. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's a thing, you know, and yeah, it's a rough scene. I probably have gotten rid of that scene.
At the moment, there are many remakes, reboots
Yeah.
in the cinema. How would you personally feel about a Neverending Story remake?
Oh, they were doing it. They're doing it. David Fincher and Leonardo DiCaprio own it. And 2 years ago, they took out a big press release, and like they have the Variety in Hollywood and the Hollywood Reporter, and they had a script and they were starting to go into production, and I don't know if it's stalled or they just have so many projects you know, going on at the same time, but yeah, David Fincher and Leo DiCaprio own it. So, you know, if anybody's gonna make a good movie, it'll be those two guys.
Yep.
You know, Leo doesn't do much crap, if any. You know what I mean? So everything he's attached to is pretty bomb. So, you know, knock on wood, when they get to it, it'll be awesome.
And 35 years later, there are a load of more technical capabilities. So
Yeah.
how do you imagine a Neverending Story, let's say 2020? What
Right.
would be the
Well-
main differences in the making and look of the movie?
Of course. It probably, knowing David Fincher, would be super dark, which the movie is anyways. And hopefully they do a good combination of practical effects and CGI. I don't think, just knowing them is, you know, I just don't think, I couldn't see them making a whole CGI movie like that. I just think they'll have stuff that's concrete that you can really relate to and feel, and then add CGI along with it. Like, I just couldn't see it being like a whole CGI movie. It would suck if it did.
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
would be difficult for the actors. We had Ricky on stage yesterday giving an amazing performance about how he had to imagine many things when he did American Gods, because
Yeah.
there's a lot of CGI in the show,
Yeah.
and like, oh, there's a tree, great, oh, the tree's bigger, yeah. Getting the direction, so that would be a thing. And do you think that some of the contents of the story of the book will be changed to appeal to a modern audience?
I would think so, but I have no idea. Yeah, I would think they would probably change it up a little bit, maybe incorporate more of the second part of the book into the first. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they'll have the liberty to do whatever the hell they want at this point. I would hope so. I would hope they wouldn't try to just regurgitate the same movie. You know, I would hope they try to make it something different, or, you know what I mean? Because then you're just copying a movie. You're just doing a, you know.
But that's what they do.
Yeah.
I mean,
But that's why a lot of movies suck.
yeah.
You know, yeah, these days Hollywood's not known for having a big imagination. They just regurgitate a lot of the same crap, and a lot of it's crap, unfortunately, you know? But fingers crossed, you know, those guys don't make bad movies, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I like David Fincher. Well, he's
awesome.
yeah.
He is really awesome.
Seven's one of my favorite films.
Oh, yes. What do you think about the box scene from the end of the movie.
That's
Spoilers,
rough.
by the way.
That's rough. What's in the box? Yeah, that's rough. That's a gnarly ending to a movie.
Yeah.
Great though.
Yeah. So one last question, because I have to close the panel in like 2 minutes. So there is time for one last question. Eine Frage, jawohl. Da in der Mitte auf der linken Seite, genau. Dum, 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 dum.
Hi, my name is Sylvia. Hi. First of all, I want to say that you were my teenage hero. You were even in my diary. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that was like coming out of the cupboard now. I actually have a question for the time after the movie was shot. So I guess you returned home where you used to live. So how was the time afterwards? And then I think you didn't actually pursue acting and you became a tattoo artist. So how did that all happen actually?
Oh no, I went home and 2-3 months later I was on another movie, Troll, and a couple months later I was on another movie, and I made movies till I was in my early 20s, and my back was so messed up from the injury that I had that I just couldn't work anymore as an actor. So I just kind of took time off to go I started working at 4 years old. So I worked from 4 to my early, maybe 23, 24 in Hollywood. And anybody that gets out of college and goes into the work job, you work 20 years, you're ready to retire. So I'd already been working by the 23 or 24 or 20 years. So I was kind of done for a while. And I'd already been I think I got my first tattoo at 15. So I'd always kind of loved tattooing and just kind of went about that and learned how to tattoo. But yeah, and then went back and, let's see, in my mid-30s or something, did a couple more, and then did Sushi Girl and The Chair and a couple other. So yeah, I had a bunch of other movies come out after that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, of course.
So, okay, there is one last question I have to ask, because you, after your longer break, you started making movies again. Is there any upcoming project that you want to tell us about or spoil the ending?
Well, no, I mean, I have 4 or 5 scripts that I've written that the last couple of years I've just been taking care of my health. I had to have a couple back surgeries to fix some old problem that my old back problem, so I couldn't really work in front of the camera, so I did a bunch of writing. So I have 4 or 5 scripts that I'm polishing and I'm going to start trying to take to Netflix, take to Amazon, do the whole song and dance type of thing, you know what I mean? And yeah, maybe we'll get something made in the next year or 2, you know? Yeah, I'm just gotten healthy, so we're gonna start looking for work again. But I do a lot of stuff too, you know? I'm a firearms instructor, so yeah, I just stay busy. You know, there's a whole big world out there besides making movies, so.
Still, good luck with all your future projects. This was
you,
Noah HATHAWAY. Thank you so much for coming, for being here. Und wir sehen uns in Kürze wieder mit dem Panel mit Kevin und Sam Sorbo. Bis gleich.